This is Selling Seven Figures with your host, Kevin Mullaney. Join him in a panel of 4 high-achieving distributors and start crushing your sales goals.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the final episode of Selling Seven Figures. I am the best of the best. My name is Kevin Mullaney, and I'll be your host for today. We've got the usual suspects. It's Amanda, it's David, it's Nanette, and we've got Katie, but we do have a rebranded Katie. Congratulations on the nuptials, Katie. What's the last name? What's the big reveal for the group?
Thanks, Kevin. It is now Katie Fauché.
Ooh, that's French for she's married, folks. All right. Well, we're going to jump right into it. It's our final episode. We hope that our Selling Seven Figures has given you all a couple of cool tips for how you can maximize your business, grow your business, and reach all your financial goals with these 4 sales crusaders have. So in the world of promotional products, our icebreaker of the day is, if you were a promotional product, what would you be and why? Amanda, we're starting with you.
God, I love these type of questions. Thank God for ChatGPT. I'm going to go with a multi-tool because I have a lot of tools that I use to do my job on a daily basis. Multi-tool.
Ooh, I like that. All right, Miss Fauché. Fauché?
Oh,
Fauché.
Michelle.
I'm gonna go with like the newest, trendiest apparel. That's one of my favorite things to sell. So I'm just gonna channel and embrace that as a promotional product.
I love that. Well, again, with the new life that you've created, I like that as well. It's trendy. I like that. All right, Nanette, what about you?
Well, since Amanda stole my multi-tool, I grabbed something else, and I'm going to go with the stress ball that's very resilient, very colorful, and a lot of fun. So I think that one would be a good one.
Okay, I love it. David, let's round it out with you.
Well, I think I am a curated holiday gift box with that nice piece of apparel that's in it and something that's useful and quality. And lastly, something that's in there that's surprise and delight, filled with colorful, multicolored confetti just to keep it fun, because that's what it's all about for me.
I love it. I thought about this one. I thought this was a good icebreaker. I consider myself a backpack cooler. Always good at parties, but leave him outside by himself for a couple days, it's probably going to get a little messy. So that's me, folks. So as we wrap up 2024, okay? Sorry to be a buzzkill here, but what scares you about 2025? Oh, sorry. I should probably talk to somebody about this. Nanette, let's start with you.
Gosh, I guess the uncertainty of what's to come as far as the economic uncertainty, it could be a very positive thing because coming out of the pandemic, there was the uncertainty there, but 2024 was a very good year for us because a lot of people that didn't spend during the pandemic rebounded and spent in 2024. So for 2025, I think one of the things would be not exactly knowing what the future holds in terms of the economy.
Yeah, well said. David?
Nothing. I'm going to embrace the uncertainty and I'm going to embrace change. And I'm going to Dave Doze whatever comes at me, seriously, whether economics or imports and tariffs, I don't care. I'm going to do what's right by my customer. We're going to be fine, and I'm going to plow forward. No issues.
It really is the right mentality. And I think if I was going to take any tip from this entire year of podcast, that's probably the best one because I'm a warrior. Katie, what do you think?
Well, I agree with Nanette. I wish I was as fearless as David, but I think mine's a little bit more on like myself and personal goals. I remember when I was about a year into my career, one of my mentors gave me a crazy stretch goal that I remember coming back and saying, how could he even say that? Who does he think I am? And I'm on the verge of hitting that goal this year. So it's something I never dreamt in my wildest dreams. So now it's like, I'm scared to even think about like, what's next? What's the next goal? What's the next benchmark?
That's awesome. Sounds like you had a good leader that believed in you and knew what you were capable of, even when you weren't ready to admit that. That's awesome. I love to see that. Amanda, what's worrying you for 2025?
I'm like with David, it doesn't really affect me. I have a plan. I put the plan in place every year and I just do what I'm going to do. Like there's going to be years where one customer's up and another customer's down because of how the economics falls. And I've always been a person that kind of looked at my book of business and made sure it was balanced so that I could kind of ride those waves where they weren't the same like every year. And that's okay. So I just put my plan together, write the prospects that I'd like to add to my list this year, and decide which customers move forward with me next year and maybe which ones are a better fit for somebody on my team that would do a better job with them. So it's just kind of what I do at the end of every year. Just keep on moving forward, I guess is the way to go. But I think the biggest thing is make sure you have a balanced portfolio. So if something does go wrong, you're not like, oh, crap. Now what?
That's why I love hanging out with you all. The windshield's bigger than the rear view for a reason, right? So I love your mentality there. And that we're going to start with you when we talk about next year. Any ideas or any strategies about how you're going to add 7 figures to your current portfolio?
I think one of the good strategies I have is to continue, obviously, to maintain the current book of business that we have, because it's much easier to maintain clients than it is to acquire new ones. But in addition to that, to dive deeper, because we deal with a lot of corporate and institutional clients. And so there's a bunch of departments and areas within our current client base that we don't have any business. And I think, being able to expand with those same clients, I think is one of the easiest ways to do that. And it was something else that I wanted to mention. I think that was the main thing, is taking a deeper dive within our current client base to be able to expand it.
Yeah, you nailed it. Once you're already loaded in as a vendor in their procurement system, it's a lot easier to get some new orders, right? And you've obviously got someone that can vouch for you. So I would agree.
The other thing that I did remember is we don't do a very good job when it comes to, I won't say we won't do a very good job, but as far as being more proactive, you have a client that has an event that's every single year, but to do a better job of being proactive with specs and ideas, because when you can give them those ideas in advance, it really, really helps to grow even more as far as those sales go. So that's one of the other things as well.
Specs, right checks.
Specs, right checks, and that's it. And we don't do as many as we should.
That's awesome. Katie, what do you think about adding 7 figures? What would be your plan?
2 things. We do a quarterly box that we send out to our clients to give them fresh ideas. And we've about doubled the number of clients that we're going to be sending that to next year to stay in front of some of, to Nanette's point, maybe not our top buyers, but get into that middle tier. So that's on the plan for 2025. And then just continuing to train my team and the account managers that work with me. We just onboarded a new account manager, and he's been doing wonderful, but there's just so much more opportunity as we continue to get him up to speed to have him service our accounts and also free up some of my time to expand as well.
Very cool, Katie. Taylor Boris that runs that box promotion. Am I right there?
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
I
had a conversation with her. Sorry, we're talking over each other. That's on me. I should let you talk. I'm just the moderator. But it was fascinating to hear. I spoke with her last year about the amount of people that have continued to add onto that program. I think she said when they introduced it, it was 100 people. Now it's thousands of boxes that are going out. So it's great to see that you guys are really tying into that group buying method there.
You got it. And for myself personally, I've expanded it every single year. So it's really fun to do a big jump this year and invest in that, because we do see the ROI, which is, really cool. And again, that middle customer that maybe I'm not talking to every week, it helps us stay fresh and in front of them.
Yeah, love it. David, what about you adding 7 figures?
Well, number one, getting lateral in those accounts. If you have a good mid-size to large size account and you only have one buyer, shame on you, shame on me. You got to get lateral and you got to have multi-buyers because clients move on. You know, hopefully when they move to a new company, they take you with them, of course. But number one, get lateral. Then number two, strategically add 1 to 2 new of the right fit customers for me. And I define that as a customer that can do at least 150,000 to 500,000 for starters, that we can really work with on a corporate programs level. At the volume that we're all doing, there's only so much you and your team can do. I can't work past 11, 12 at night anymore. I don't have that capacity. So I've got to really work smart. And so if I'm going to bring in a $500,000 account, that's going to be something that we can plug in, and the majority of the orders are going to run through corporate programs that I don't have to touch.
Yeah, well said. It's really the best way to grow the 7 figures, I would say. What Annette touched on is adding more buyers from your current clients, and then the same thing, like you said, David, getting a big program, right? Putting it on autopilot. Let the experts that are focused on that do it. Mandy, finish us off with the 7 figures edition for Walker Clay.
For me, it's a little different. Obviously, I just took over as owner, and David might be seeing this too as well. Like, I'm potentially not looking to add $1 million to my book. I'm looking to grow the people below me on my team. So I may be looking to pass off some of my accounts and let my account managers do it, because I actually enjoy hunting. So taking on some of that hunting role and bring on a couple of new clients, and that in turn helping them grow and hit, the achiever level, that, 1 million plus. So my goal is a little bit different. Whereas I'm not really trying to add another $1 million to my book. I'm good with where I am. But I do want to add, $1 million to the books below me, if that makes sense. But grow my team around me. So just a little bit of a different look, and just looking at my accounts and figuring out like who the best fit is, because there's some things that people on my team are really, really good at and better than me. So just trying to team up which accounts are right for everybody, and that makes everyone's job fun. Like, it's fun when you're working with the right account.
Yeah. Aces in their places. That's what we used to look at it that way. Just match up the right rep with the right account. It's not easy. All right. We're going to start with David on this one. We've hopefully learned a little bit from each other throughout this process, and not just, the 13 people like my aunts and uncles that are watching these podcasts after we record them. But is there something, a key takeaway from this series that has either reshaped or reinforced your approach to say, hey, I'm on the right track, I'm doing the right thing here, David?
Well, throughout all the episodes, there's a lot. There's nothing I really disagree with. Everyone's got a little different take on it, and we all either said it differently or do it differently, slightly differently. But at the end of the day, do something. The people that are saying, geez, my phone's not ringing, and it's quiet. What about the future? I'm getting nervous. No, do something. Do one of the 150 tactics we've talked about over the course of these episodes, but do something at the end of the day.
So good. I love that. Nanette?
I think just remembering my why and continuing to focus on, keeping the main things. I think over the course of this last year, we've also talked about the importance of relationships, and I think continuing to hone and to improve and better those relationships. I think that's one of the big takeaways that I've gotten from it.
Love it. Mandy?
Like, stay positive. I think with David saying do something, like there's a day where all of a sudden I'm slow. Like, what always gets pushed off is like specs or creative ideas or something that I could do that's proactive. So like sometimes being positive about that moment, like, oh my God, my emails are caught up. This is great for me because I can actually go do something proactive. So instead of being upset, like, oh my goodness, my emails are slowed down, I try to have the attitude of, oh my goodness, I get to do something cool today. So take that moment to like send out 10 cool ideas to a client, work with a couple of your vendors, get some, virtuals made up. How can you turn that into a positive instead of being like Debbie Downer on like, oh, it's slow today. Okay, well, that's cool. It's slow. Like, what can I do with my time that's going to move me forward? And as soon as you start sending out those 5 things, like 20 things show up in your inbox and you're like, oh, busy again. So enjoy that 5 seconds of calm before everything blows up again. Because as we know, we get into holiday and all of a sudden, we've passed Halloween, guys. It's full out Christmas. And if your orders aren't in, we need to get those holiday orders in yesterday. So if you have a moment of clear, get out those ideas and make sure all your clients have their holiday in. Because if they don't, we're in trouble at this point.
Yeah, one thing I'm going to try and do next year is really embrace my space, right? So like you'd said, like you're a little slow right now. Okay, well, there was a time when you were so busy, you just wish you were a little slow. And then you're a little slow and you're wishing you're a little busy. Hey, it's okay to be where you are, right? And then just be present, be thankful. And like David said, do something so that you just keep going, right? Katie, what about you?
I think it's really that there's no easy solution or one size fits all for selling 7 figures. Everyone here is showing up every day for their customers and for their teams. Like David said, we all have different things we're doing. We all have different strengths, but we're all showing up and we're all making it happen. Perfect example is doing these recordings. Everyone here has a million things going on, but I've never seen someone show up and not be prepared to answer the questions. So just making that conscientious effort.
Yeah, really good point there, Katie. I mean, it's a team thing. I don't want to let you all down by not being prepared, and I really want to be on the ball. So, when I misspell your names or mispronounce the companies you work for, I just feel like I've let you down. So sometimes it's not even just showing up for yourself; it's showing up for your other team members. So I completely agree with you there. Now, this is the most difficult one. I think this is the one that we're all trying to get out of something like this, to try and improve other people's book of business. But if you could describe the recipe, the key habits for continuous improvement, if there's one daily or weekly habit you have to recommend staying motivated, innovative, and ready to close those big deals, is there anything that you would be able to share with us? Mandy, I'll start with you.
I think you had the key word is like big deals. It's okay to say no. Like, don't be in a rush just to get a sale when you start. Like, figure out what type of client, like David he said, this is what I'm looking to work with. I want clients that are going to spend 150. Don't start prospecting accounts just to get an order of, $150 to get $150, because it takes you the same amount of time to write a $150 order as it does to write a $150,000 order. So be very mindful of your time, especially when you're building, and like take your time, go after the right accounts. It might take you a little bit longer, but I do think in the long run, you're going to be better off that you don't have, unfortunately, things that are just going to eat up your time really quick if you're not going after the right type of client. So I think take your time, develop the type of client that you want to go after. This industry is so fun. You can decide what type of client that like fits you. So go after the type of client, figure out like what you think that annual spend needs to be, and really focus in on those accounts. And I know your aunt and your mom's watching this, but you don't need to do their 5 t-shirts for their event. There's, my sister's really good at Etsy, not the one that's in the industry. So there's some great people that can make 5 shirts, but it's really, it's going to cost them more to do something like that. And it just doesn't make sense. So I think the biggest takeaway is it's okay to say no when it doesn't fit your target.
Yeah, it's a great point. Bad customers are also going to refer bad customers, so it's really important that, you're swimming in the right ponds of the people that you want to be working with. David, how about you with the recipe?
My nugget is be consistent. Success happens when you're consistent over time. And I don't care if it's professionally, personally, how many, like personally, as an example, you go on a diet. Dieting for 4 days isn't going to do it for you. It's dieting and being consistent that will take the weight off over time. And same goes for business. You got to stay in it. You got to put the effort in over time. It will pay out. But most people quit. Like when you're calling on a new customer, most people don't wait those 8 to 10 touches. They quit after 3. So consistency is my answer.
I love it. Katie?
In addition to all of this, take care of yourself, like work out or stretch or whatever that like daily, weekly self-care is. I think, to get to these certain levels, we've all had seasons of really, really hustling. And that doesn't stop, but just take some time for yourself physically, mentally, and then also make sure you're scheduling time for yourself to train your team. I know it's easy to get wrapped up into each daily need of your customers or your to-do list. But I think when we start letting any of those things slide, it actually negatively affects our business.
All accurate. Nanette, what's the recipe for the lemonade?
I'm just going to say with what Katie said is you can't pour from an empty cup. And for lemonade, I think one of the things we do is stay connected to our clients, because ultimately the clients are who's keeping us in business. So client check-ins to be able to make sure that we're on point with what they need. And I mentioned earlier in one of the earlier podcasts that I do a lot of lunches and I love to eat. And I think that's why I'm not losing weight, David. The consistency, because I'm eating out all the time, but to be able to stay connected with the clients, I think that's one of the secret sauces that's been successful for us.
Love it. All right. The final question of selling seven figures for 2024. I'm still stuttering on it on episode 12. It's amazing. The future proofing of salespeople, right? I think everyone's getting a little worried about AI or chat GPT, like whatever it may be. Is there something that you're looking into now that's, whether it's technology, tools, whatever it may be, that can potentially make you even better for next year and in the years to come? Mandy, I'll start with you.
I just think it's still people building the right team. Like I think potentially looking at people that know how to use AI. Like I don't think that everything's going to be replaced by AI, but I think it can be enhanced by AI. Like you still need a person to put a prompt in. Like you can't have the right people. So I think it's just hiring the right people and creating the right team and just being like nimble. I think that we were, I think I never want to have to go back and sell sanitizers and masks, but during the pandemic, that's what we had to do. And we all figured it out. And then we quickly all were like, this is terrible. Why do we want to sell masks and sanitizer? What else can we sell? And we're all like, we can mail people stuff to people's houses. Like, how do we get the addresses? We're going to make wicked cool boxes and send them out. So I think that's kind of how we came out, is that we're like, okay, right now we're going to sell sanitizer and masks. And how do we not sell that? Because it's terrible. It's not fun. And we're like, we're going to do this. And I think we all moved quickly. So I think part of it is just being able to move quickly and like figuring out the need. Like there's always going to be employees. There's always going to be a way that businesses need to engage with their employees and customers. So like sometimes it's a make it work moment. We just got to figure it out and brainstorm and be creative. And that's just what our industry's good at. Like we're kind of a little bit of a weird bunch and we figure things out and we're doing different things like every year. It's, you've been in it. It's very strange industry.
Well, what's really strange to me is we got all the way to the last episode to finally get a wicked out of you.
Wicked.
All right, Nanette, what's your wicked cool future proofing idea, Nanette?
Well, I think just staying on top of the trends. There's so much that's changing with the introduction of AI. It's changed so much, but as Amanda said, I don't think it's something that's going to replace human beings, but it's something that certainly can make us even more creative. And, there's ways to be even more connected with the client. So being able to stay up on those trends and continual learning every time you have the opportunity, I think that's very, very important. So you don't get left in the dust because things are changing at the speed of light.
It's true. David?
One thing I don't think is going to be going away is relationships. I absolutely love my clients. I hope that they love me. I think they do. But the ones that don't love me or weren't happy with or are mean-spirited or such, they were fired, whether they knew it or not. We let them go. And I continue to work with people that I like to work with, that appreciate us and that we get their brand. And then the flip side, that continuous improvement, you embracing technology, the social media, the AI, and all of that.
Love it. Katie, you're going to close us out here.
We've talked about relationships every single episode. So I agree with David. That's not going away, whether it's with our clients, our teams, our vendor partners. But in addition to that, just continuing to improve our e-commerce systems and all of those different tools that we have in our toolkit to keep up with retail, get feedback from our customers. I mean, that's going to continue to be an important tool for us as we move forward.
I love it. Well, to you four, I just want to say thank you for collaborating with me. Thank you for collaborating with Promo Corner. I think this has been a really, really fun year learning from you all. And I will say, I don't know if we get renewed. I don't know if this is like the Friends renegotiation podcast because our contract is up. So the only thing I would say for the to my aunts, my uncles, all of my cousins, if you've been watching, if you've been liking, let Lori Moore know because we want to kind of do this again in 2025. Hopefully there's going to be some new revelations that we can share with you. Or, maybe David's leading this and there's 4 new all-stars that are going to help you selling 7 figures. But thanks so much for all 4 of you. Wishing you luck. I know these next 2 months are extremely, extremely busy, stressful. Just rewatch one of those episodes in all seriousness because you'll probably be able to find some of the relaxation and some of the calm in some of your own gospel. So thank you all for sharing everything with us, for these subscribers. It's been a blast.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, it's been fun.